It wouldn't be hard for you to find references to that if you really want to know if what I'm saying is true. And God called the firmament heaven, and the evening and the morning were the second day. But it is interesting in science that the next thing that happened with our Earth, I mean, it's fast forwarding time a lot, but at one point, if the days aren't literal and you're trying to just sync this up with what we know in science so that it makes sense to you, this day number 2, which is water, fire, water, air, and earth in the tetragram number 2, the earth was just a ball of water. Land had not appeared yet. So that's water, fire, water. Day 1 was fire, remember? So it is a quinkadink, but maybe it isn't. Maybe the reason it might not, actually, I think it's even more probable personally. The Kabbalah was an oral tradition before the Sefer Yetzirah, the oldest written Kabbalah. So with this book, you can prove that whenever you think this book was written is when you now have data to support that at that time they believed this. But it was an oral tradition. So then to prove that it existed before that, you just need to prove that it was an oral tradition. And that shouldn't be hard because it was. And it's just they decided to write it down at one point because it just got ridiculous, That's why we don't know anything about the Celts, because they were just all poems and songs and oral traditions and stories and fairy tales. Like these are really, that's really what the Bible, it took time for it to be a written down thing too. It was just a bunch of fairy tales that teach morals around the story, around the campfire, stories around the fire. So now we're on day number 2, water. Okay, and that's a spirit, and you can start just plugging in the occult to it. And God said, let the waters under the heaven be gathered together in one place, and let the dry land appear. We're on the 3rd day. So now let the waters divide, and the land came out of the ground. And that is what we believe in science. The earth was a ball, and then at one point there was land that came out of the mountains and stuff, shed islands and stuff came out, and now we have that. So fire, water, air. Before the 3rd day, it was all about water because you would have had to swim, but now that there's air, now you can be an air dweller that doesn't even live in the water. We just drink water instead. Fire, water, air, let there be land, and land appeared, right? So again, I'm just doing that Kabbalah behavior of making everything a correspondence. And that's what all religions. The Mormon Church is based on. It was started by a guy that was steeped in Masonism, and Masona, the Masons. All right, which is also based on the occult, which is based on the Kabbalah. Okay, it's all. Look at that. It's a really thin book, but yet it's all based on that Judeo-Christian, Arabic, or Islam, Okay. I ain't shitting you. Is the air day, and the evening and the morning or the 3rd day. So the number 3. Number 4, the 4th day. God said, let there be the lights in the firmament and the heaven, divide the day from the night, and let them. So what's 4? Remember, fire, water, air, and earth. So now we're on earth. Earth means manifest form. It's the first number across the abyss. Kesed. And now we're on number 4. And so notice nothing happened. So far, huge things happened. The sun. Oh, that we're going to need a sun. The earth, which was just a ball of water. Yeah. Until they're like the sun, if there's just light and there's nothing to light up for us to be on, like, yep, we'll need one of those. But we're not, now we're going to need some land, air. Now there's land. And so now we have everything. Now we just need to start putting stuff on the land, including humans and all that, right? So the 4th day, notice nothing happens. Watch. And God said, let there be lights in the firmament of the heaven to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs and for seasons and for days and years, and let them be for lights in the firmament of the heaven to give light upon the earth. And it was so. Those things already happened. Remember? That was like on the first day. So you'll notice number 4, because number 4 is manifest form: fire, water, air, and earth. Okay, that's why it's Yod, Che, Bao, Che. That's why the 4th letter is a repeat of the 2nd, because when the first 3 are made manifest, when the first 3 are one, you have manifest form. You gotta. If you just think I'm gonna make a cake, but then you never do anything else besides have that idea, you never made it to number 2. Number 1, I'm gonna go eat a cake. Number 2, well, you better make one then. Number 3, well, we can do that. Come on, let's do this. Number 4, all right, let's go get the recipe book. Number 5, oh, we don't have a recipe book. That's okay. They always have recipes on the back of the box if we just get Betty Crocker. Number 4, we just bought a box of Betty Crocker, but you still don't have a cake yet. All the different steps. Number 4 is Che, a repeat of the 2nd letter in the tetragram. Che. Why would you, if there's 4 letters, you have 4 chances to base everything on. Why would you repeat one of them? How boring. It's because if 4 means manifest form. And then number 4, it's just recapping everything that's happened so far, because it's manifest form. What have we made? We're on number 4. And God made 2 lights, and the greater light to rule the day, and the lesser light to rule the night. And he made the stars also. The stars were already there. And God set them in the firmament of the heaven to give light upon the earth, and to rule over the day and over the night, and divide the light from the darkness. And saw that it was good. It's redundant. Everything about this is just recapping everything that we've established so far. Okay, it's number 4. Let's recap where we are so far. And to rule over the day and over the night, and divide them from the light and from darkness. And God saw that it was good. And the evening and the morning were the 4th day. See, nothing really happened. We just recapped everything. Manifest form, earth, fire, water, air, and earth. Now we're on number 5, the point of severity, like it's called in the Kabbalah. Jabura, red. And God said, let the waters bring forth abundantly the moving creature that hath life, and fowl that fly upon the earth. So now we got all the whales, and some fish, and some marine life, and also birds in the sky. So yes, there were birds in the dinosaurs. There were dinosaur birds. Just still no real reason to argue, you guys. Not really. And there's no real reason for this whole the Bible's infallible thing. Let's kill everybody and brainwash ourselves. Like tell ourselves over and over again. Oh, if you keep telling yourself it's true enough times, you'll believe it. You'll believe it. So just have a little faith, brother and sister. Okay, and God created the great whales and every living creature that moveth, which the waters brought forth abundantly after their kind, and every winged fowl after his kind. And God saw that it was good. And God blessed them, saying, be fruitful and multiply, and fill the waters and the seas and the fowl and the earth. And so you first, Mom, Dad, did dinosaurs and birds have sex to make babies? And the answer is yes. Yes. Yes, my son. Yes, my daughter. For you should read Genesis chapter 1, verses 21 and 22. They've always done that. Okay? And God blessed them, saying, be fruitful and multiply. We already said that. And the evening and the morning were the 5th day. Okay? And so now the 6th day. Did I say earlier that the humans were created on the 5th day? No. Why did I say that? Tiferet, number 6. The corresponding Hebrew word in the Kabbalah is Tiferet, and it's the self. And then the corresponding planet is the sun, because the sun's the center of the universe. It's the self. And number 6 is the 6th day, and that's when man and woman were created, Australopithecus afarensis. Adam and Eve come later, like Homo habilis or something like that with Adam and Eve. Okay, and God said, so now we're on starting the 6th day. And God said, let the earth bring forth living creature after his kind, and cattle, and creepy thing, and beast of the earth after his kind, and it was so. Like, oh, those aren't humans. Well, those are mammals. Boobs. Mammal. Mammal comes from the word mammary, because they breastfeed. Humans are mammals. And yes, trans women can breastfeed if you give them the right medication and get the milk started. Look it up. And the beast of earth after his kind, and it was so. And God made the beast of the earth after his kind, and cattle after their kind, and everything that creepeth upon the earth after his kind. And God saw that it was good. And God said, "Let us make." Was humans the first mammals? And the answer is no. We were apes out of the family. There's a certain branch that would one day become Homo sapiens, but through Australopithecus afarensis at this point. Though I've updated that. That's what I believed a long time. I'm not sure. I'll leave a link in the description box where I go over that. I didn't prep because I'm trying to just do this loose, hoping that it'll make it shorter. So let us make, and so now we're on verse 20, famous Genesis chapter 1, verse 26. It's the creation story of our particular species. But we don't start out that way like we know in science. So we update it. And after all, because the way the story looks, because they glued the text together, so that's not what the writers meant it to. It was an accident, But it turns out that it was a good accident, because that's what the truth turned out to be anyway, the evolution and blah blah. So and God said, "Let us make man in our image, and after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth." So we're the smarty pantses, and because we're the smarty pantses of the planet, that makes us something special. It's our job to take care of everything, because which wins, brawn or bran, or what's that? You've got the brawn. I've got the bran. Let's make lots of money. I don't even know what the words are, but the song, smart, versus strong, which wins, and smart wins. Strength doesn't win over smart in the real world. It might in a street fight, but we're not in this type of scenarios. It's the bigger picture of survival. Being smart would be the ultimate thing to be. And so that's what I think that means, And God said, "Let us make man in our image." So you're like, in our image. You just read right over that, just after you've gone all over and over again about how God's not a man in the sky. God's not a man in the sky. So being created in God's image, weren't you listening? Number one, thoughts. Things are created out of thoughts, out of images, words, symbols. We were created out of the image. So do I need to read the Jeremiah chapter? It was Jeremiah 23-24. Watch. Let's just let Jeremiah, since you don't believe me, will you listen to Jeremiah? Maybe 23, for crying out loud. Jeremiah 23. We're almost done. Very end. Verse 24. "Can any hide himself in the secret places, that I shall not see him? Saith the Lord. Do not I fill heaven and earth? Saith the Lord." Am I not in heaven and earth? So look how much of the Bible, the creation story is the very beginning, remember? And here we've got Jeremiah talking about the heaven and the earth. That Jah creates things out of the heaven and the earth. That who Jah is is the system of heaven and earth. Like, it's I think it's more consistent. We could go to, a famous book from the occult, Transcendental Magic by Ep.11-The, page 408. I got it noted in my Bible. And you can hear one of my heroes, Eliphaz-Levi, talk about it. And it's out of the chapter called the Book of Hermes. And Hermes is we'll have to do a whole episode about that. Hermes is quite a thing. But on page 408 of that chapter, Eliphaz-Levi says, man is the son of his works. He is what he wills to be. He is the image of the God he makes. He is the realization of his own ideal. Should that ideal lack basis, the whole edifice of his immortality collapses. Philosophy is not the ideal, but ought to serve as its foundation. The known is for us the measure of the unknown. By the visible, we appreciate the invisible. Sensations are to thoughts even as thoughts to aspirations. We're created. God is what we create God to be out of our thoughts. Even God's created from our thoughts, number one. We're created in the image of God. The image. Words are images. And, because a baby, I wasn't born speaking English. But later I learned English, and I can correspond those words I learned to meanings and thoughts that I had even before I knew how to speak English. Verse 27, so God created man in his own image. In the image of God created he him. Male and female created he them. Male and female. And of course the animals were created males and females too, remember? And so that's and God blessed them, and God said unto them, be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth. So they're supposed to have sex and make babies too. Mammals. The sixth day is the day of mammals. Let's create a bunch of mammals. Ultimately, the younger would be of the who would later be evolved to humans in Ethiopia. And God said, behold, I have given you every herb bearing seed, which is upon the face of all the earth, and every tree in the which is the fruit of a tree yielding seed, to you it shall be for meat. Okay? So then the question comes, if we're trying to be in sync with science, were the early, if you go far enough back into our evolution, Australopithecus afarensis, and what did Australopithecus afarensis eat? Were they vegetarian? Because according to this, whoever they were created to be vegetarian at first, because their meat was plants. It just said, and to every beast of the earth, and to every fowl of the air, and to everything that creepeth upon the earth, wherein there is life, I have given every green herb, and it was so. So even the animals were vegetarian. See, so what I believe that means, and it's the subject of Ital in Rastafari, is, it's certainly the first thing to bring up when talking about what Ital means in Rastafari, and why the vegetarian and semi-vegetarian, or the flexitarian, lacto-ovo-vegetarian, pesca-vegetarian type things you see Rastas have, and their personal idea of what Ital means, natural and genuine, but if they're going to get biblical on your ass, they're going to say it's because of this, mostly. And Numbers chapter 11, that's another subject. Okay, and to every beast of the earth, so everything's vegetarian. And God saw that everything that He made, and then it was good, and then the sixth day. So the original intention of Yahweh is not that there would be any meat eating. You know, that's something that's going to come later in the story apparently. And again, so on my episode 1A, I have a link to my playlist on creation. I have some videos about who the Australopithecus afarensis and what they ate and whether they're vegetarian, and I got references for anything that I've suggested on this episode and everything. That's it. That's episode or chapter 1. Like I already mentioned, on the first 3 verses on the next chapter is, thus the heavens and the earth were finished, and the host of them. And on the 7th day God ended his work which he made, and rested on the 7th day from all his work which he'd made. On the first, so the 7th day is the Sabbath, which is Saturday. Saturday is the 7th day. Later it was changed to Sunday, but the original Mosaic, Moses, he'd be like, oh, why are you guys doing the Sabbath on Sunday? You listen to some things I say and not others, when, hello, the book of Genesis, the most found, they're not married yet, are they? Some people say that marriage is the most foundational concept in the religion of Yahweh. Wrong. Jah's religion, the most foundational concept is the Sabbath. And you can see my episode on Sabbaths. There's annual Sabbaths and weekly Sabbaths, and we pinnacle it all around the Passover. So then on verse 4 is the beginning story all over again. And these generations of the heavens and the earth, and Lord created everything in the heavens, and then there was and breathed into the breath. And so next, we'll talk about the next chapter in the next episode, but that's the other record. That's why it goes over the creation story as if it hasn't been repetitive enough as it is. It's because by the time you're on verse 4 and 5, by now there's so many records and translations and stuff, and people penciling in little sentences at the end of sentences, and so many things that have happened that that's why things are all redundant and everything. But it turns out it just really kind of makes it easier to make believe that it was talking about what we know from science, but giving credit due, it really is stuff we learned from science, and we're historicizing it. So anyway, so that is the next episode. That was the next episode 10. So next time, who knows? I probably won't do the library next episode, because this is Coffee Chat with Angie, and I might do the start of another program for when I want to talk about another subject. That's kind of what I'm trying to do now, is establish which programs I'm doing as I come up with ideas for shows. And God bless. The only way to end with an episode like this.